Ignoring the important way of how typefaces look and seem to have personalities is one way to totally ruin your graphic designs. So what do you say? Let's actually learn about how real designers use typeface psychology in graphic design. And that's starting with these two designs that use a typeface called Yapari. Oh yeah, and actually before we kick into high gear in today's video, a quick thank you and a shout out to Invoice Ninja for sponsoring today's video. Now Invoice Ninja simply makes the invoicing side of being a designer, well, simple. You can keep track of your hard-earned money coming in, and importantly, keeping track of those pesky clients that haven't paid you yet. And oh yeah, the mobile U layout is super clean as well, and the app itself has a really good rating online. But yeah, more about Invoice Ninja later in today's video. So Yapari is obviously a sans serif typeface, and it's important to ask ourselves, what do we actually know about sans serif typefaces already? Well, sans serif fonts are often perceived as modern, clean and minimalist, and that's due to the lack of serifs or small lines at the ends of the characters. One key use case for sans serifs is that they're often associated with technology and innovation because of their use in digital interfaces and software. Okay, cool, but if we actually look at Yapari, you'll probably notice how wide and stretched it looks. And this is where being embedded and immersed in the graphic design community and world comes in handy, because if you are all about graphic design, then you know this style has been trending over the last few years, but mainly in the type of design that is linked with futuristic, cutting edge and ultra modern kind of design audiences. Now with that in mind, all of that in mind, let's jump back to those two designs. Firstly, we have here a project for Kawaii Network. And Kawaii Network is a blockchain project, or for those not in the know, just cryptocurrency. Crypto is highly modern, it's innovative, and it's linked to technology. And I mean, could this website be any more cutting edge and modern? Seriously. Hats off to the devs on this one, for sure. But so you can see that we've ticked off various links back to the typeface psychology of Yapari. But then what about the next design, the tennis design? Well again, this racket, the Pro Staff 14, is being marketed as a cutting edge of sporting technology. It's modern, it's new, and so Yapari here is a possible awesome choice as a typeface. And as you position yourself around graphic design and typefaces, you will not have to remind yourself of what psychological connotations are linked with certain typefaces. It just becomes a kind of unconscious thought and decision, and it just becomes second nature to designers. Utilise is a beautiful serif typeface which has been used here in a flower exhibition. And again, let's briefly remind ourselves what serif fonts are all about. They're often perceived as more traditional, more classic, and formal because of the small lines at the ends of the characters, the serifs. Serif fonts might be perceived as more elegant and refined than sans serif fonts, making them a popular choice for luxury branding and high-end design. Okay, cool, but let's just go back to that design project a minute. We can pick out words like contemporary and simply see how the whole event is surrounded in elegance and prestige. The psychology of this project and the psychology of the people interested in the project actually match up with the psychology of the typeface, and that's no mistake. But then what about a serif being used here? Now this was a branding project by CRSL Studio, and it was for a medical tech company. The color scheme is on point for a modern tech company, that kind of cool lime mixed with a dark blue. But yeah, of course, we're not actually here to talk about colors today. The serif typeface here is ABC Arizona Mix, and if we compare that to Utilise, we can see a clear difference in typeface style. Utilise is more elegant, it's more rounded and sophisticated, whereas Arizona Mix is more narrow and more technical. And it should be noted that Arizona Mix has been used with a sans serif typeface to make the design work for a medicine and also technology sector. There is a new category of typeface that's really caught my eye recently, and it's igniting a new spark of inspiration and passion within myself and graphic design. Experimental typefaces are making big waves in the design world, and their use case is hard to actually pin down exactly. Now here's one example of Scanner. The typeface has very differing character styles across the board, but the running theme is that of sans serif. We can apply traits that we know about sans serifs, but the experimental feel makes the experience less formal, it's kind of more playful and maybe perhaps non-conformist. And as you can see, it's just a case of looking at the typeface and how it actually looks, and then working that psychology or those connotations into your brief, or actually seeing if it does match the brief. And here's another example, it's the typeface phase. This also is experimental and non-conformist in appearance, and it's been used in a way to push an edgy or fringe style design. You might be asking yourself why, but it's obvious the designer wanted to give off that kind of feeling via this typeface. The designer wanted the graphics, the layout, and the typography to make the viewer feel a certain way, and so phase was a good choice on this design. Another great choice is considering how Invoice Ninja can really help your graphic design career. Invoice Ninja is an open source platform focusing on freelance invoicing, payments, and productivity. When a designer starts to make real money in their career, the last thing they want to be doing is just spending a whole bunch of time on paperwork, invoicing, and all the back-end stuff. Invoice Ninja makes everything faster and more simple for you and for me, and it has things like time tracking and project management features, so you can remain laser focused on a project. It has banking integrations, and even inventory and vendor tracking. The invoice templates really do rock as well, and they'll make you look really professional when you shoot over your next invoice to a client. And there are a whole bunch of invoice templates that you can scroll over, browse, and then use on your projects. But yeah, be sure to check out Invoice Ninja down in the description box below and see how it can help your career today. But if you want to learn more about typography, just click that video on screen, and until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.